Hello, this is the trade site U.S. stocks and futures market preview and domestic economic data roadmap for the week beginning Monday, the 10th of November 2014, ending on Friday the 14th. Hope you just completed a great trading week. Let's start by taking a look at the markets. Then we'll look at the from a daily chart perspective. Then we'll look at the intraday action from this last week. We'll look forward to next week and see what we can expect in the week ahead. Here's the ES front month futures contract on the daily chart. Hit new highs for a close on Thursday. Traded at new highs, but did not close at new highs on Friday. We actually, no, actually, it technically did. The futures did not, but the cash index was up just under a point. So basically, new highs for the year on that. Here's the S&P cash index, as you can see. We'll take a look at the Nasdaq side, and you can see this is a pretty flat week. Last 5 days, dead sideways here on the Nasdaq after the run-up. We did have the election on Tuesday so far. No definitive response to that. The stocks, the semiconductor index rolled over here a bit, holding the 10 EMA at this point. Biotechs, on the other hand, are slipping under that. The VIX was pretty stable this week and pushed down to new lows, 13.12. And here's a look at crude oil, which is under $80 and has been all week finally. Looks good at the pump. I filled up for $2.67 a gallon today at the pump. And gold got a big bounce down Friday after being down earlier in the week. Some of our key trading stocks that we like to follow. Here's a look at the Google. Didn't do much this week, kind of mid-range for the year at this point. Here's Apple pushing up for the back end of the year. Oh, look, the doorbell. Here is, what else do we like? We like Amazon on a regular basis. There's a look at the Amazon chart. Didn't do much. We've got the Netflix chart right here. Hasn't done much at all this week. Overall, I'd say it was a fairly slow week. In the markets. Tesla, again, flat. So, yeah, we didn't see a lot of action out of the bigger stocks. This is one of the steady, consistent weeks. It was a little bit green. I had 2 days that were better than the rest, but I didn't have a super huge day like I like to have every week. It was just kind of more of a mellow week. But it is what it is. Let's take a look at the volume number. Volume was decent here in the market. Stayed around that 1.8 billion shares every day. That's good enough, much better than what we were dealing with back in August, and certainly even better than most of September. So not as good as some of the craziness we saw in October, but you don't need crazy every day to be happy. Here's a look at the intraday action this week. We're going to do 10-minute bars on the ES futures contract so you can see the whole week. And what you'll notice here is basically what the week looked like, right? Gained about 15 points for the week. Little gap up Monday, we filled it, closed flat. Tuesday, little gap down, did not quite fill it, missed it by a tick actually. Headed lower, closed a couple points down. Wednesday gapped up, so that fills the gap from Tuesday, but we did not fill the gap from Wednesday morning. We still have not, as a matter of fact. Wednesday was also pretty flat intraday. Thursday, a little bit of wiggle early and then a drift higher. Friday, opened basically flat and closed right there. That's the ES. We'll take a look at the Nasdaq side. Not going to tell a significantly different story this week. Matter of fact, look at the Nasdaq. It really closed dead even for the week, just about up a couple points. But look how flat that really is. I mean, that's about as flat as you're going to see the Nasdaq. The whole week in a 40-point range for the most part, and every day pretty much right there at the same spot. So that's not too exciting. That kind of explains why we didn't have any of those big days this week that we usually like to see. All right, so that takes care of the market outlook. Let's take a look at what's coming this week. And we got a curveball this week. A couple things to be aware of in our trading. We start on Monday the 10th with, no economic data at all. Tuesday is Veterans Day. That means banks are closed. The stock market remains open, but when the banks are closed, most people are not trading. It's very hazardous. If you're going to trade on Veterans Day, be very cautious, but mostly it's a nothing day. It's one of those things. There's 2 days a year where the banks are closed, but the stock market's open. We'd love to just have the stock market closed. You might as well at that point. So then Wednesday, we get to wholesale inventories and the MBA mortgage index. Thursday is initial and continuing jobless claims. That's the weekly number. JOLTS job openings, natty gas, crude oil inventories, and Treasury budget in the afternoon. And then Friday, probably the most data points of the week: retail sales, import-export prices, Michigan sentiment, and business inventories. None of those are any of our biggest numbers. We've got no Fed meeting. We're past earnings. It's just a straightforward trading week, and having that Tuesday holiday is kind of awkward. So I would imagine the better trading days of the week will be Wednesday and Thursday. Hard to see that Monday would be too heavy unless there's some kind of news over the weekend leading into the Tuesday bank holiday. So probably Tuesday obviously light. Wednesday, Thursday maybe better. Friday is always a question mark. We always trade a little lighter on Friday. And then we've got another full week after that. in the middle of November here, and then we head into the Thanksgiving holiday where you got a very short week. Monday and Tuesday can be active, but then Wednesday, everybody's the biggest travel day of the year. Everybody heads out for Thanksgiving. Markets are closed on Thanksgiving. They do open the markets for a half day on Friday. That'll be Friday the 28th of the month, just because the rule is you can only have the stock market closed 3 days in a row, not including weekends. And so they open it for half day on Friday, but we don't trade that. We don't show up with any calls or anything. So that is sort of a long weekend at the end of the month. And then we have December, which starts out fine for the first half of the month, and then obviously dries up a bit when you get into the Christmas week and holidays. The other thing we start to look at now is we're going to start looking at stocks that are up for the year, significantly up for the year, because you're in that point now in the second half of November where nobody's going to want to sell these stocks between now and the end of the year and lock in a gain. So stocks, because they would have to pay taxes by April for those. If they just wait till January, they don't have to. So what ends up happening is a lot of these stocks that are up for the year, unless the market for some reason really heads down, a lot of these stocks that are up significantly for the year will continue to push higher for a while, despite the fact that they may be overvalued. They may look like they're up a lot. It doesn't matter. It's sometimes easy money. We've had a lot of winners. This is what happened last year with Twitter, for example. Had come public in November, was already up a lot from the IPO pricing, and stayed up and basically ran in December all the way to ridiculous numbers that it's never seen since, topped out on the last day of the year, and that was because there was just no sellers. So that's what we're looking for some of these calls. We'll be working on that the next few weeks. In the lab, we'd love to see you there. As usual, if you've not taken a trial of our services, you can get a 2-week trial with all of our trade calls for $2.97, and that allows you to come into our lab and listen to us trade during the day. If you found these videos useful, please like them on YouTube. Charts, as I said, brought to you by eSignal, and we hope to see you in the lab. Have a great trading week.